Good morning, everyone. Okay, we are getting ready for Adela Parsha this week, and I'm still stuck in the first few psukim, and I wanted to share some ideas that I think you'll find somewhat meaningful, because I did. Pasuk begins with Vayidaber Moshe el Roshei Hamatot Bnei Israel Lemor. Ze hadavar asher tziva Hashem. Ish ki yidor neder laHashem o hishba shvuah leoser isar al nafsho lo yechel dvaro. Right, and this is the laws of Nedarim. Right, Pasuk starts that the Moshe is telling the heads, the Roshei Matot, that there are these new laws that are going to be about Neder. And the question is, why are these laws being taught over here right now? Right, you can teach the laws of Nedarim now. You couldn't teach the laws of Nedarim earlier. This is the end of the 40 years in Midbar. Bnei Israel is about to go into the Midbar. Why over here? And more than that, we have a very important question to ask ourselves, which is, there's a concept in halakha called lo tosif. You're not allowed to add to halakha. So now you're teaching me that there's something called a neder, where I can make chumrot that don't exist. Why is that even allowed? La halakha. You hear the question, right? Meaning, the Torah says very clearly, don't add to the Torah, right? This is the Torah, these are the laws, and don't add to it. Don't subtract from it. Make it very simple. Make it clear. But now you're telling me there's a whole system here of Yidor Neder, going ahead and making these promises, making these shvuot, and now you could add chumrot. So the difference is as follows: that in halacha, there's no way out. But in neder, the reason why Moshe is announcing these laws in front of the Roshei Matot, to tell you that if you have a bed din, you could annul the vow. So it's not a chumrah in the same way that halakha is halakha, right? But when it comes to a neder can be taken away, can be broken. But this concept of using words is super important because we're about to enter into the land of Israel. And so much of who we are as individuals is a reflection of what we think, of what we say. How we say what we say matters. So for example, the word yichal, lo yichal davaro, right? Kol yetze mipiv ya'aseh, okay? Everything that comes out of his mouth, he should do. What does Rashi say? What does lo yichal dvaro mean? He says lo yichal dvaro, kmo lo yichalel dvaro. Lo ya'aseh dvaro chulin. He should not make his words chulin. What's chulin? What does the word chol mean? So we use profane, mundane, lacking kedusha, secular, away from that which is holy. So on Shabbat, Motzei Shabbat, we say Amad Kodesh L'chol, right? We're taking away something. So there's an idea of speech that has kedusha, and there's another idea of speech that has zero kedusha to it. Now, when the Torah tells us, use your words, whatever you say, kol yetze hayotze mipiv ya'aseh, right? The way in which we're supposed to live is in a reality where what we say is what we do. The dugma. There was a Rav Schachter was giving a shiur, and he was for years. Everyone knows that he would take his tea without any sugar. Someone once came to him and said to him, Rabbi, why don't you put sugar in your tea? So he says, you know what, it's a funny story. 50 years ago, I was in Israel, and I was in someone's house. I wasn't sure of the kashrut. He offered me sugar. I don't know why sugar needed to be, whatever it is. He had his chumrot, and he said to the guy, I don't take anything sweet with my tea. And ever since then, I've stopped having anything sweet in my tea. Because in his world, what you say is your reality. Is what you do is real, right? So, for example, the Lubavitcher Rebbe would not like the word deadline. The word deadline is a negative word. He's like, use the word due date. He didn't like the word retreat because it's a symbol of going back. Did not like the idea of the concept of you call it a conference. There was someone that came to him and said to him, Rabbi, we want you to give us haskama. We're building a hospital, right? He says, I'll give you my haskama on one condition. You don't call it a beit cholim. He call it beit refuah, right? Stop using negative words in your life, right? On so many different levels, and it impacts you. There's a book called How One Word Makes a Difference, and this is a bunch of psychologists that came up with all this interesting research about 4 or 5 years ago, how the words that we use actually can impact our DNA. That when we use negative words, hurtful words, in our vocabulary, that ends up having a negative effect on us, on a physiological level, right? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol nihya bidvaro. There are 4 different aspects of creations in this world. You have something called domem, tzomeach, chaya, and the midaber, right? The one that's speaking. When there was a translation coming out for these concepts, the Rebbe did not like the word inanimate object. Domem. He says that's not true. That makes it sound like ilu, it doesn't have a connection to Hashem. Everything in the world is a reflection of godliness, and God created all of existence through what? Through speech, through words. Words matter. He says, don't call it inanimate, call it silent. Right? It's a silent object, because the way in which we describe things matter. Did you know that 75% of anything positive a child hears from he's born until 20 happens until he's 5 years old? All the positivity that we give to a kid is up until he's 5. After they're 5, there's only another 25% of positive things that are being heard. What would that kid look like if we continued encouraging him positively, using positive words versus negative words? Think about who we would be if we actually lived in a world where people's words mattered, where a word, that's described sharing something with someone else, instead of using words that hurt, we use words that heal. Instead of using words that turn people off, we use turn people on. The Rebbe did not like the words outreach, because the idea that you're outreaching to somebody else means that there's somebody else that's lacking and he's further away from God. Who says that person's further away from God? The way in which we use our precise language matters. That's what this pasuk is. He says, "Lo yichal dvaro." Don't make your words profane. Don't make it chal. Don't make it have no meaning. When you say "Kol hayotze mipiv," Yaaseh, do it. Do it. Your words matter. You're going to go on a diet. You're going to go ahead and say you're going to do something. You're going to a shiur. You're going to Bet Knesset. Whatever you're doing, you got to live in that world. Don't allow your words to become profane. And this excitement that you have when you say something is the same excitement you have to carry in actually carrying out the task itself. That is what these pasukim are about. Now, it's not an accident that the word dibur, right, shares the same shoresh as the word davar. A thing and a word is the same thing in Judaism, right? Same shoresh. Why? Because your words define your reality. Words define your reality. We know that the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because of sinat chinam, right? What is sinat chinam? Sinat chinam is a world where no one cares about what the other person has to say anymore. Lo ichpat li, I don't care about your words. I don't care about what you do. I'm only thinking about myself. We know that Lashon Hara was a precursor to all of that. Right? Why? Why is Lashon Hara such this powerfully destructive force? Because negativity is the root of all evil. Okay? It's having an ayin ra, a lev ra. All those things that end up destroying the world come from our inability to use proper words. How do you set your heart properly? Using positive speech. How do you go ahead and change your reality about how you feel about things? Positive. There's no negative. I'm stuck, Rabbi. I can't get out of it. No, it's nonsense. Right? I'm learning with a guy, and he said, Rabbi, I'm too old. And I said to him, that's nonsense. You're too old. You know they did a experiment where they took 85-year-olds in an old age home, and they built a new space for them, a new property, and they put everything in this property from the 1960s. So they would have been 40 years younger. Okay, and when the TV shows that were playing were in the 1960s. The songs that were on the radio were from the 1960s. What's that? It was also for dementia. The original study, they did it again. Okay, and what they found was that these people had they were rejuvenated somehow. They found energy that they didn't have. Their health got much better. So much of how we age has to do with how we think. And so much of how we think has to do with how we speak. Right? Do you want to be the person that just says something and it has no meaning to it? Or do you want to be the guy that says, Kol hayotze mipiv ya'aseh? That's what we're aiming for. The tikkun for the time they're in right now, during these 3 weeks, is becoming individuals that live in a world of positivity and not negativity. Become individuals that understand that the koach hapeh, the dibur that we use, impacts the world in a profound way. It's not an accident that the eyes only have one lid to close, right? You can only close your eye once. It's only one layer of protection. You could close your ears by putting your finger in your ear and blocking out your hearing, right? You could close your nose, but your mouth, you got two gates. You got your teeth and you got your lips, right? Because you always got to think twice before you speak. You always got to think twice before you let anything come out of your mouth. Everything else, it's different. But what you say has the power of change. The famous midrash of Ben Yehoyada, who was tasked by Shlomo HaMelech to go out and find the milk of a lion to heal a local king. And he went and he approached this, the king, went out of his way to go ahead and draw out the lion, make a relationship, get the milk, and on his way to go ahead and deliver these lion milk, which was going to have healing properties for the king that was sick. Midrash tells us that all of his body parts were fighting, and each body part was arguing as to which one is the most powerful of all the limbs in the body. The legs say, no, it was me because I was able to carry the body to get the milk. The arms say, no, it was me. I was the one grabbing the milk. The eyes, the ears, and the tongue says, I'm the most powerful of you all, and I'll prove it to you. He gets up from this dream, Ben Yehoyada goes to this king's palace, and he's about to deliver the milk, and they say, what is this? And he says, this is the milk of a dog. And they quickly arrest this person, and they put him in jail. And now he has another dream, and they say, the tongue comes out and says, me, I'm the strong one. I want you to admit to be modeh, that I am the most powerful of all the limbs. And they all agree. He said, watch me get you out of this. He comes out, makes enough mechila, had a long trip. I wanted to say lion milk, and he saves himself and he saves this king by delivering the lion's milk. See, the mouth is the key organ that allows us to understand our world. It could set us on a path of productivity and construction, or chas v'shalom, a path of destruction. When you live in a world where words don't have meaning, anything is possible. What is a man? What is a woman? It doesn't matter anymore. The words don't matter anymore. What does it mean to be married? It doesn't matter anymore. When we live in a society where the words don't have any meaning, things don't have any meaning. Life has no meaning. It's a slow process. Words are everything. This is why, as Jews, we're so meticulous about how we read a word, how we say the word, how we translate the word, what order it's in, the vowelization. It's so important because the words define reality. Lastly, if you want to do a famous experiment, it's called the rice test. Make one pot of rice, okay? Take out whatever the cooked rice, put it into 2 containers. One container, Tupperware, write positive words on it. Another container, write negative words on it. Leave both of these things on a shelf, no matter where you put it. You'll find that in 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, the ones with the negative words on it has mold on it, and the ones with the positive words don't. Same pot, same everything. Your words matter. Why does it work like that? I don't know. Why is it that when I put negative words on a Tupperware, same pot, everything came out at the same time, one has a negative impact on the rice, and one has a positive impact on the rice? It's because God creates a world where our words define our reality. And therefore, these psukim are so important because we're about to enter into the land of Israel, right? And if we're going to go into the land of Israel and build a society, build a country, build a nation, it's meaningless if that nation does not understand the weight of its words. May we be blessed with the power of understanding the depth of our speech and using it for positivity, become individuals that anything that comes out of our mouths, kol hayotze mipiv ya'aseh. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen.